Hey guys, welcome to the Jason Rev Show, and I have my first guest ever here today. My guest is my good friend
Marco.
Marco, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Everyone's allowed one polo, and then that's
that. Yeah, after that, enough. So, how have you been?
Hey, you know what? Pandemic life has been not that different than regular life. I work in an essential industry, so I've been going to work pretty much this entire time.
Myself.
So, you know, with all
as well.
the proper safety protocols
Of
and
course.
testing and everything that we're all familiar with.
That's it, exactly.
But I do live on my own, so I am allowed to visit a
That
certain
is.
bubble.
That is, and this is part of our bubble.
And here we go.
This is our bubble. So, we're going to talk about Star Wars mostly in this episode. This is what we're going to talk about. So, the first question I have. So, what are your earliest memories of Star Wars, and what made you decide to become part of the fandom, as opposed to just watching the movies, like, you know, kind of an active part of the fandom where your friendships, a lot of your friendships and such, come from the fandom.
Yep, you meet people at conventions or online or whatnot. So, Star Wars came out in 77.
Yes.
I was born in 74.
Okay.
So, I was 3 when Star Wars came out. Empire came out in 80.
Empire came out in 80.
So,
yes.
I'm 6 when Empire comes out. So, for those first 2 movies, the thing is, Star Wars was always there. It was like, you know, my mom, my dad, my brothers, and Star Wars. It's just things that have always been in your life.
Yes.
And that was Star Wars. I distinctly remember in kindergarten, and there was one X-Wing fighter in the kindergarten class available for the kids to play with, to the point where the teacher had to like create a schedule for us to take turns playing with the X-Wing fighter.
Nice.
I distinctly remember those seeing Jedi. So Jedi is 83.
Yes, Jedi.
So I remember Jedi, my older brother, promising to take me to go see Jedi.
Nice.
And that poor bastard, for that entire months leading up to it, I would be, let's say, outside playing. We lived out in the country. And if I saw my brother's car pull into the driveway, I was sprinting my chubby little ass back to the house, because God help me if that was the day he was going to take me to see Jedi and I wasn't home.
That
and
is right.
I was going to miss it.
You had to be ready. You had to be ready to see Jedi. I hear you.
So we eventually went. My brother, his then girlfriend, now wife of 30 plus years.
Nice.
We went to the drive-in.
Ooh.
And so, of course, I'm just sitting in that back seat and I'm soaking it all in.
Yes.
The sun hadn't fully set.
Yeah.
So, because of the light in the surrounding, when it got to some of the scenes in Jedi, you couldn't really see it. Eventually, like, once the sun went down and everything was fine.
Of course,
But distinct memory when Luke gets dropped into the Rancor pit.
Yes.
All right?
Yes,
so
great scene.
We've all seen the movie, or I assume you have.
If you
not,
haven't,
hit
pause and go watch it.
and-
First of all, I have to stop you. If you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe and hit the like button. Now we can continue.
Right on. So Luke gets dropped in there, and the scene is when that big gate rises up, and then the Rancor comes out. Couldn't see him.
Oh!
Couldn't see the Rancor monster. All I saw was a giant set of teeth in this black screen coming at me.
That might be scarier.
Terrified
that might be
me.
Scarier than seeing the actual Rancor.
Terrifying. And then once you got into some of the other shots, you could actually see him all fully fleshed out and everything.
Yes.
But yeah, so that was Star Wars. So as far as how do you get into the fandom, well, you know, what was the line from Dark Knight Rises? You adopted it, I was born into it.
Yes.
And that's it. What about you?
Myself, my father took me to a double bill of what used to be Star Wars, is now known as A New Hope, and Empire Strikes Back. I don't know if probably 81. I don't think it'd be 80 because I would have been 4. But I was young, and I do remember it. I don't remember, I remember loving it, and I don't know if they were out on VHS yet, and I got to rewatch them before Jedi came out, but I don't remember. But when Jedi came out, my parents were divorced, so I got to go with both of them. So I got to go see it
double
twice.
Christmas, double Thanksgiving,
It
double
was
Star
awesome.
Wars.
So I got to go see it twice. I went with my mom to see it. Me and my mom went and saw it. And then my dad and my stepmother, we went and saw it. And during the time when my dad and my stepmother went and saw it, the film snapped in the theater.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so I'd never seen it, so it was all good with me. But yeah, it came back on after, but that is something I distinctively remember. And yeah, I remember just loving it. Like I was a kid, I cut out. You remember the post, the cereal? I don't remember what exactly was.
Yeah, the mask on the back of the cereal box.
I'd cut out Luke Skywalker, and I'd be pretending to be Luke Skywalker, fighting with lightsabers with my friends, and I loved Luke. As a child, I just loved the character of Luke Skywalker. He was the hero, right? The white hat. You don't know.
Yeah.
You like Han Solo, but you don't. Han Solo's the gray shades of gray character that you start to like. As an adult, you start to develop more an appreciation of him, shall we speak?
I think we both grew up in like rural settings.
Yeah, see, I was born. I watched it down here, but I moved into Timmins after much. Yeah.
So I grew up in small town Ontario on a farm, and there was always something. And I mean, it's one of those things where whatever it is you sort of have, you always wonder and long about other things. City kids maybe longed about being on the but the country kids kind of longed for that. So there was always that moment where Luke's looking at the suns and the music swells.
And you're like, I don't want to be
and it's just like, life is good and everything. It's not like you dislike your life, but that idea of, what else is out there? Where's my adventure?
That's right. Why can't I go to Toshi Station?
Pick up some power converters!
Yes. So, it has been 15 years since the last of the prequel films have come out. As we know, we were fans of we were Star Wars fans of the original trilogy, and not everybody was kind to the prequels.
No.
In our not everybody was kind to the prequels. So now I go online and I see a lot of love for them from certain people. I remember, I didn't see that even, I'd say 10 years ago. I didn't see that love, but now you start to see a little more. So what is your now 15 years later that all three are done?
Yeah.
What is and since we've had a sequel trilogy, what is your feelings and appreciation or non-appreciation or towards the prequels?
So with the prequels, I mean, do you ever get that feeling of, remember maybe there was a kid in school that you teased and now as an adult you feel really bad about it?
Yes.
That's kind of sometimes where I'm at.
Don't bully people.
No,
do not
that's
bully.
the lesson.
That's it. Don't bully.
I really think it was almost, I don't want to say doomed to fail, but look at the expectations on that movie. Like I said, people who had grown up with it.
Yep. It's not fair because we were adults at that point in time. We were in our early 20s when it came out, and we had watched the trilogy.
We had watched the trilogy. We'd been exposed to other.
Yeah, and then Lucas came and redid the trilogy in the theaters and added shit, and we were like, oh. And I mean, honestly, most of that stuff, I'll be honest, didn't bother me because I always thought of it as this is Lucas's story.
Oh, he put in an extra do back.
Yeah.
You didn't ruin my childhood by doing that. It's not like he made major changes. To the plot or anything.
He kept making them, and but.
And for me, it was an opportunity, the first opportunity, to go back and see those movies, even amended, in a theater, and that was a huge thing. I remember my friends and I think we were in university at the time, and it was a huge thing for us to go and see Star Wars.
My cousin and I only watched New Hope again in the theater. I didn't watch the other two because I don't know. I had them on. I kind of diminishing return. I could watch them. Yeah, I was nowadays if they did it, I probably would have gone to all of them. It's just
I don't even think I could tell you what the added features to Jedi were.
No, because they re-added stuff later on because they added added Hayden is Anakin, and he at that point in time
very end.
He wasn't, but not at that point in time because Hayden wasn't. The films weren't made yet. Because these came out,
you're talking right. Subsequent releases on video and DVD.
And he changed the voices of the voices of some people to Boba Fett. He changed Boba Fett's voice to Tamara Morrison.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is all post.
This is in like
but yeah,
the
I couldn't
video
tell you
releases
what I couldn't
afterwards.
tell you what he did as a change.
Yeah, Star Wars. Okay, dewbacks. The scene with Boba Fett, and okay, the crappy
big-
CG Jabba.
And the big one from A New Hope was
Biggs.
Han.
Oh, Han
Yeah,
shooting
Han
first.
Han, no.
Oh no, sorry. Han
No,
not shooting
yes,
first.
that was the big and I agree that it changed his character, but it didn't bother me because I always thought
I was
this.
bothered more by the crappy neck
Yeah.
thing than I was the fact that Han didn't shoot first.
Yeah, because I mean, he was the kind of guy that would shoot for, but
Yeah. But to go back to the prequels,
yes,
so like I was saying, they were almost how could they live up to the expectations?
I agree.
But I remember coming out of Phantom Menace, and okay, Jar Jar was annoying,
Yes.
but he wasn't ruin the movie for me.
I
Annoying.
laughed. Sometimes he made me laugh a few times, but it was like childish. Like how wooed, like it's like Michelle Tanner.
Yeah, or like it's sometimes a little bit too
Yeah.
much. Like Jar Jar doesn't have to be funny every 2 minutes.
Yeah, or slapsticky, like a little too much. He's
Yeah.
dropping things and his tongue's getting in the way.
Or
and
the Qui-Gon grabbing his tongue,
Yeah.
and exactly. But some parts of it, Darth Maul, right?
Yeah.
You kind of hated to see him end the way he did.
The
but
pod racing was exciting. It was
pod racing
fun,
was
yeah.
exciting. I know some people really didn't like the pod racing, but it was exciting.
Yeah.
And Liam Neeson is Qui-Gon. First of all, great.
Yes.
I called into a radio talk show once. They were talking about leading male action heroes, and they were going through all the regular ones. And I called in and I said Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
And the host was like, "Oh yeah, Taken and all that." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, but Liam Neeson, the guy trained Obi-Wan Kenobi and Batman.
Yeah, this is
So
true.
you got to give him props."
You do.
And then Attack of the Clones. All right, the love story between
it was
it just didn't
Anakin
connect.
and Padme. It was
And the problem is
poorly written, wooden acted. Yeah.
that's the love story that's supposed to be the impetus for him going bad. The reason he goes bad is because of this love that goes
I've
wrong.
always tried to say, I'm always in my head, because I always want to enjoy things. Like, that's how I go at things. I'm not a critic. I don't go in as a critic. So I always want to try to enjoy things, right? So I always went in and was like, well, for him it was his first love. He's not used to it. So I'm trying to justify why he was so bad at it. So I'm like, it's his first love. He doesn't have experience with this. He's, I tried to.
Now, the wooden acting thing, because we've heard that
Yeah.
forever, right? I've got a theory about it that it might have been on purpose. Because remember, when Darth Vader in the original sequel trilogy is Darth Vader, he speaks in a very almost robotic way.
Cadence, yes.
Right?
Yes.
A robotic cadence. Yeah. Does Darth Vader ever use a contraction? If we can do a rewatch and see if he ever uses a contraction. And that goes with his look, right? And everything.
Yes.
So all of a sudden now you've got, okay, well here's the guy that's eventually going to be the guy in the suit.
Yes.
So you've got to get some of the mannerisms down if you want to be a solid actor, you're going to get some of those mannerisms down.
That's right.
And you're going to get some of those speech patterns down.
And
so maybe that's actually Hayden Christensen doing a good job of being an actor. And but maybe it doesn't translate well on screen.
Did you prior to him being not being cast, but prior to the film coming out, I went and saw the movie called Life as a House, specifically because I wanted to see how my Darth Vader was gonna be, and I loved him in that. He was amazing. Have you ever seen the film?
I have not.
It is a great film with Kevin Kline.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've heard of it.
It's a sad movie. It's a very sad, but it's a well acted movie, and I think he's fantastic in it. He's like an emo kid who's, isn't close to his father, and the father is trying to bond with him. There's reasons, but he's trying to bond with him. I mean, it's years later, but if people haven't watched it, go watch it, and maybe you'll appreciate Hayden a little more because he was really good in it, and I was like, oh shit, he's gonna be a great Darth Vader. This kid's fucking angry, and people didn't like. I loved him in the movie we haven't got to talking yet.
Yeah.
about, but
Are you talking about Revenge of
I'm
the Sith?
talking about Revenge of the Sith. I love the hell out of him in that film.
I think some of the most powerful moments from that trilogy are, and sure, it's the last one of the trilogy, are from Revenge of the Sith. The angst, okay? Are we doing all right?
15 minutes. Yeah, 50.
Oh,
We're
okay.
good. We're good.
All right. Him and first of all, my opinion, best part about those movies,
Wow.
Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, he's getting his own Disney Plus series because of how good he was.
I want to watch that series. I want to see that character. He took the just like the old man character and made him a badass.
He made him a good kid. He made us care why old Ben Kenobi.
Well, like you can take dialogue, and maybe the dialogue's clunky, but in the mouth of a good actor,
yeah, I agree.
okay. So yeah, maybe some of Christensen's delivery was a little, awkward. But if you take you were my brother Anakin, and you put that in the mouth of an actor who doesn't have the chops, it's gonna sound cheesy.
It is.
You put it in his
you were
mouth,
the chosen one.
and it's like your heart's gonna burst out of your
Still,
chest.
Yeah, I agree. It's
Right,
still,
you feel that stuff.
breaks
So
my heart, that scene.
even now, watching that scene,
Yeah.
you feel that. You feel
And-
that sense of a man's
Yeah.
heart breaking.
And I think Hayden, he did what, like just that scene where he's sitting and, Mace tells him go, you can't come, and he's sitting and he's like, what do I do? Just sitting there and you just see him. It's like, yeah, like
It's sometimes what I refer to as the Keanu Reeves effect, where he's a better actor when he's not saying anything than when he's speaking sometimes.
Internet, we are not talking bad about Keanu Reeves because we know
Hell
he
no.
is well loved and we do not,
Hell no.
want to be
One of the reasons he's so amazing in The Matrix is it's his reacting to this world he discovers himself in.
Yes.
So, yes. Nothing but love for Keanu.
That's right. But yes, back to Star Wars now.
Yeah. So where I am with the prequels, yeah, definitely a lot more forgiving of it now. Appreciate it a lot more now. They are what I call Sunday afternoon movies, right? You're home Sunday afternoon.
Yes.
Phantom Menace comes on. For those of us who still watch network television,
Yes.
and like I said, I was born in '74. I still watch network television. Yeah, they're great movies like that, and I think we've come definitely more forgiving of them now.
I agree. I enjoyed them each different. Like, you told my childhood self that I was going to see a Coliseum full of Jedi with their lightsabers lit up fighting.
Right.
I would tell you I'd watch that all day, and that's why I've always said the prequels have their issues, but I have always enjoyed them because there's been. And then as an adult, the older I get, I can understand the trade federation. I can understand the politics behind it. All these things that I'm like, oh my god! Like I understood Palpatine's puppeting, puppet master, but the older I get, I'm like, oh my god, look what he did. Like all these things he did, and that's even before watching any of the Clone Wars or anything. Like,
Well, yeah, it laid the groundwork also for a whole new part of that story and characters. So like Mace Windu, Jango Fett, and then obviously Jango Fett leading into the Boba Fett storyline.
Yeah.
Even though she wasn't part of those movies, it created a world where we got a Ahsoka Tano,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
and just a fantastic character.
Oh yeah, it's a great time. Like it was a great time. Like Lucas is a master, a storyboard per somebody that creates ideas of he's like
a world builder.
He's a great world builder. I mean, execution he created the first He did a New Hope or Star Wars all on his own.
Just for the record, if you say Star Wars to me, I know you're talking about the
yes.
So just for this,
okay, I will say Star
Wars means that movie.
But he created that was his the other ones he had his help with. He had other directors, he had other writers on them
collaborative efforts.
Empire and Jedi were he had a collaborative people, but Star Wars itself, he
That
did
was
it. That
his-
was his. So overall, it's his brainchild. That's why, people made crap on the prequels, but still his brainchild, and it's still got way more good in it, in my opinion, than it did bad, and it's still.
Yeah.
When I do my rewatches, I start with Phantom Menace. I go in chronological because the Luke, I'm your father isn't shocking to me anymore. So I don't. But when I do the rewatch, I watch them in the orders from 1 to 9. I don't know if I've ever done that yet since 9 has come out. I mean, you could watch the other films in between, but yeah.
Well, Rogue One.
Yeah,
Solo.
Rogue One.
Yeah.
I mean, I do enjoy watching Rogue One before Star Wars. Oh yeah, I like it because that is
one
like that
leading into the other.
That is like that puzzle piece or that Lego piece. It just connects and it's perfect because it just fits in there so perfectly.
One thing that was always with the character of Darth Vader at the very beginning of Star Wars, there's an anger to him. Right? Like a loudness and tear this ship apart till you find those plans.
Yeah.
That never really carries over into other films. And I guess you can say, as they come up with the character and he's more of a stoic character. But it was always kind of odd that he had that anger to him in Star Wars.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden Rogue One explains it because it's like, Princess Leia's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, I saw your ship leave.
That motherfucker. But motherfucker
you
handed it. He handed it through the doorway. I killed him. And then you dropped out, and I was standing there watching you guys.
Absolutely.
I know you have them. Don't
lie.
Yeah.
Don't you lie. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
If I knew your father, I would. Yeah.
Right on.
But yes, that is. So this is going to conclude, I think, part 1 right now.
Oh.
Yeah,
right.
It's already been about 20. It's close to the 20-minute mark. If not, it is 22 minutes. So this is the end of part 1 right now, and we will be continuing with a part 2. And
right after these messages.
Right after these messages.
Right on.